afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. You're now live with the Psychic Couple. I'm Chuck.
You're Chuck?
I'm Chuck. I'm Jed.
Yeah, I'm Chuck. And welcome to a brand new episode. Today's episode is about Mothman and the Jersey Devil.
Yes, welcome back to our series.
The Cryptozoology series. And we are from the northwestern section of the great state of Connecticut. We are now done with meteorological winter. Another Psychic Couple hit. We always do this on Columbus Day for the December, January, February meteorological winter. And reviewing it, you can see it was posted out there at psychiccouple.com. And you can see that it was exactly as what we had predicted. But this is airing on March 4th. We're the Psychic Couple. Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences is brought to you by the Society for Spiritual and Paranormal Research, SSPR. Wherever you see the SSPR, you know you are with the Society for Spiritual and Paranormal Research. Our website is
www.cvezio.com.
And all of this information is posted when the show gets posted. I don't call it a TV show anymore. I don't call it a radio show. I don't even really call it a podcast.
It's just the show.
It's the show. It's
the
spiritual and paranormal experiences.
And it's everywhere.
In our 15th year of running.
It's everywhere.
So, join us on our SSPR Conversations app on our Facebook page and our Facebook group. Links to our this is on our website and on our social media.
And coming up on this episode,
Loch Ness Monster might be a giant
something.
You're gonna have to wait and see.
Couple sees man-sized bird.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a Jersey Devil.
Reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream.
That's me trying to get you out of bed in the morning.
That's me after you tried to get me out of bed in the morning.
Bipedal kangaroo.
Remember, I don't human before 9 a.m. I don't adult before noon. That is one of my most famous sayings. You can ask any one of my cat or dog people.
And still, come noon, she may classify it as an adult, but the IQ level still hasn't woken up yet. I'm still waiting. 32 years and counting waiting.
Yeah, well, keep waiting. Because I'm telling you, the moment I grow up is the moment you put me in the ground.
Okay, a bipedal kangaroo-like creature with a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail. Sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to actually see one for myself. Knock, said everybody in the world.
What about a wyvern-like creature? You didn't...
Later on in the show, I'll give it a definition of what wyvern means.
All right. On to the tools of protection, brought to you by the minister, Chuck.
Oh, I'm not only just a Psychic Couple, I'm a minister.
We are both ordained ministers.
From the Church of Love and Light. So let me put on my minister hat. This is a drama-free zone.
Clear your head.
Mind.
Clear your mind.
Only
Close
positive
your eyes.
thoughts.
Put your hands out up to the Lord. Or just out and up, palms up.
Yep.
And take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth.
Slow.
And listen to the voice of Chuck.
Surround yourself with the white light of the Holy Spirit. Surround yourself with the golden ring of love and fill it with the green, flowing, healing energies. Please, my Lord, surround us with a double-sided mirror that repels all negative energy and allows only positive, influential energies to flow freely. Please use Asna's shield for protection, Asna's sword for defense. I love you, my Lord God and Jesus and Asna. Amen.
Amen. Can you turn the radio down a little bit?
I will. Tools of Protection has been brought to you by the Church of Love and Light and ministers Chuck and Jen.
Yes.
And our website is www.cbezio.com.
And now we go for...
We are in our prayers and blessings. We do this at the beginning of our show. Prayers and blessings will be read by the wonderful, terrific, divine, and goddess-like minister, Jen.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with that introduction. My head's so bloated. Oh. All right, everybody, clear your mind. Think only positive thoughts.
See what the Tools of Protection did for me?
Yeah. Take a cleansing breath in through your mouth, out through your nose, and listen to the sound of my voice. Dear God, thank you for your great love and blessings over our lives. Thank you that your favor, patience, and grace has no end, but it lasts for our entire lifetime. Please forgive us for sometimes forgetting that you are intimately acquainted with all of our ways, know our faults, and that you know what concerns us. And you take us into your mighty arms to protect us as only our Heavenly Father can. Amen.
Amen. Prayers and blessings have been brought to you by the Church of Love and Light, ministers Chuck and Jen,
at www.cbezio.com.
And we are accepting new members. We are accepting donations and volunteers and contributions. If you're interested, please contact us through our website. And on to the next segment, Paranormal News.
A trip down the garden path leads a historian to cryptozoology by Joseph McLean.
At the
Antiquarium
Society, she ran across something that she couldn't resist.
It was that mystical period at the end of a time in the archives, she said. You've seen everything that you knew you needed to look at.
And you get time to sort of plow through less obvious collections. You're not sure how fruitful they will be for your project, but they often yield the most interesting results. There is a long-held rumor that there are off-limit archives that the general public cannot see. Do you believe this to be true? And if so, why are they off limits? What type of material could be off limits to the general public? Who decides what is off limits?
I believe there is material that's off limits. And I believe the materials are something that are one of a kind. Something that's strange, odd, weird, and different that can't be explained. Some things that have strange DNA.
And a new approach to how I do my narrative in the shows. I'm going to try becoming a devil's advocate to what you say. So that although I'm not the skeptic's point of view, it comes across, and we can explain why some of the skeptics' points of view, we can discuss some of the skeptics. It would, maybe if I was a skeptic and you weren't.
So what you're trying to say is you believe they don't keep anything.
I believe that the material's put out there, and a lot of it is probably put out and dumped in volumes of encyclopedias. And if there is a secret vault, that is the material to be researched and studied intensely afterwards down the road. So there's not an intentional keeping it off limits to the public. It's as the scholars have not had the time and resources to actually investigate this particular topic or subject.
Oh.
Okay? Do I believe what I just said? No. I can be a devil's advocate on it and say, I know by watching so many
You're just giving them
and
a good
listening
excuse.
to so many lectures and hearing from so many skeptics that I know exactly in what direction they're going to put this.
Who decides what is off limits?
Anything that doesn't fit into the narrative of academia.
Yeah, but who decides what's off limits?
It's peer review.
I think it would be the experts, the most, the highest.
If somebody was to publish a paper, and before they get published, they must go through this series of colleagues that review the paper for accuracy. You can, if it's a scientific.
Well, the experts in their field.
Mm-hmm.
The archaeologists,
and if they can't come up with the same results,
DNA people, everybody like that.
And if this collection of experts can't agree, then most likely the person will not put their name on the paper and say further research is going to have to be done on that and put that in a drawer somewhere.
Well, they'll put their name on the paper as to being accurate with their research, but because it's odd, weird, strange, and different, they're not going to publish it.
Yes, and it might be archived until a later date. And that later date never arrives. Now, what I truly believe...
It's just like the papers on the Shroud of Turin didn't come to light until God knows when.
You mean what papers?
All the
are you thinking of the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Or the Dead Sea Scrolls.
There's no documents with Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is the Shroud of Turin.
They did a huge tests on that. All kinds of tests.
Oh, the actual... the investigation and what they discovered from the investigation. Oh yeah, no, it academia takes a long time to process things.
Yeah.
Just like the government, just like religion, nothing is like corporate America. Happens right now in real time, baby.
Corporate America doesn't happen in real time either, half the time.
A lot of things are made simple and easy, especially if you have the cash.
Yeah, I guess.
You can throw as much cash as you want as education, and they're going to go as slow as they feel like. Same thing with religion. You can just keep throwing money at the government, and they ain't going to go any faster. They're going to go as fast as they go.
Okay, let's move on here.
Okay. So, honestly, although I gave a skeptic's point of view, do I believe this is true? Yes, I do believe that there are materials that are held, evidence that is held from the general public. I believe that in their minds they may actually believe that they're doing a public service because they don't have all the answers at this time. So they'll put that later date, let somebody else research it, or they'll get back to it.
Or they'll wait for more evidence to turn up.
Yeah. So it's hard to really say which is which. You know.
All right. DNA suggests Loch Ness could be.
Dun, da, da, da. Scottish Lakes DNA suggests Loch Ness monster might be.
Giant eel researchers found a surprisingly high amount of eel DNA in the waters of Loch Ness, but it's not clear whether that indicates a gigantic eel or just a lot of little ones.
What do you think about the idea of the giant eel theory for Loch Ness?
I think that the eel theory being in Loch Ness is a possibility. It's probably what the Loch Ness eats.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that I don't think that there's eels and that there's giant eels, but I don't believe that that's Loch Ness, because although it may describe some parts of what some people are seeing, it's not describing others.
All parts.
The head that rises way above the water, it arches.
Or the flippers.
Or how deep it actually is. Or sonar, the size of it. It doesn't have an eel is basically a type of
strip,
type of water snake.
Yeah,
it's not a snake; it's an eel, but it is not a fish-like reptilian type creature. That is a water dweller. But Loch Ness, with its head and nostrils,
has always been described as a plesiosaur.
Mm-hmm. And my question is a Plesiosaurus a air breather or underwater air breather?
I think it's an air breather.
I think it can. I think it has nostrils.
Maybe it can do both by now.
I think it has lungs. I also believe, just like with a lot of other reptilians,
not even. It's more of a dolphin-like now.
That they can actually absorb water right through their skin.
Yeah.
And if it is a reptilian type creature, which I believe it is, is that they probably hibernate during the colder seasons into the mud and get their nourishments through their skin like other reptilians or amphibians do. So it's not uncommon. It's just to have a dinosaur type creature in Loch Ness, Lake Champlain, or all over the world. These types of creatures are...
Well, Lake Champlain's supposedly an alligator.
Yeah.
A huge alligator.
Yeah.
That eats whole cows at one chomping.
Loch Ness Monster Hunter believes Nessie is just a catfish. Here's another story. After nearly a quarter century camping out by the banks of Scotland's Loch Ness, hoping to glimpse Nessie, the most dedicated hunter of the legendary monster has given up, concluding it is just a very big catfish. What do you think about the idea of a very big catfish theory?
Well, I do know that if you go to the mouth of the river and catch channel cats in the briny water, they do get to be really big, but not big enough to be Nessie.
There's not, and catfish...
And there are koi fish, which resemble catfish, which can get really big. There are fish out there that can get really, 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 really big. But it doesn't resemble Nessie. They don't have the long necks. They don't have
the long tails.
No.
And
they don't have this.
And the flippers, skin. Not fins.
Yeah.
Flippers. Now that means that there is like an arm and leg extended out that ends up, instead of having phalanges or toes, they have flippers. So not an eel and not a giant catfish. That some of the characteristics may describe Nessie, but it doesn't fit the total description. So
maybe if you combined the eel with the catfish.
You know that old saying, if it don't fit, you must have quit?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it doesn't fit. So guess what? Theory's not. But let me take the skeptic's point of view. After years and years and years of looking for and studying and becoming a legendary monster hunter who knows the area tremendously and has studied the wildlife and has most likely experienced giant catfish, that there are some descriptions in the catfish that would make people believe that what they are seeing is Loch Ness and it's actually catfish. So, could Loch Ness sometimes be misidentified and it's actually a catfish, or be misidentified and it's an actual giant eel?
Possible, I suppose, because you're seeing one lump.
Yeah.
And you could have a hump from a catfish. You could have a hump from an eel.
Well, let me put it to you this way. If I see a fin above water, and I know dolphins have fins above water, I ain't taking any chance that it's a shark I'm getting out of the water. It could be a dolphin.
You can tell the difference.
Well, my point is, yeah, I may be able to tell the difference. And most people that know a lot of the different species and creatures and stuff will be able to know the difference. But there's some that will see a fin and automatically say we saw sharks, and it could have just been a school of dolphins swimming by. You know, and it's just been misidentified. That doesn't mean the shark doesn't exist. It just means that it
wasn't a shark.
Yeah, it wasn't a shark.
All right. Steve Feldham, who gave up his girlfriend, house, and job in southwest England in 1991 to spend his life looking for the Loch Ness monster, believes he has solved the mystery behind his many sightings. The Times newspaper reported on Thursday.
Do you believe that Steve? Do you believe Steve? Loch Ness is an eel. I think we kind of really described.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think it's the eel. I don't think it's the
catfish.
A catfish. But what I can tell you is I do believe that the interest in this and the amount of people that are out there, and they don't even have to be.
It'll be found soon enough.
Yes, it will be, just like with the giant squid and the mega squid. The world is getting to be a smaller place with so many people on it. We crisscross the world. We have these cameras and video cameras and instant media access and access to any and all information at our fingertips. And yeah, whether it be a creature or whether there be real solid truth and proof on some video or photos or something, that Loch Ness is a what has become, what used to be a saltwater creature has become more of a freshwater underground cavern in very deep cold waters, which makes me think that being so cold and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. Is Loch Ness fresh or is it briny?
It's fresh. It's a freshwater lake. It's miles and miles long, and it's unbelievably deep.
Oh, I know that. But I didn't know if it went into the ocean or not. All right, Paranormal News is brought to you by paranormalnews.org. And if you're interested in these articles, they're posted on www.paranormalnews.org.
Spiritual moments. God wants you to skip the Super Bowl. Oh,
Super Bowl Sunday is just around the corner. Ha 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 ha. We already passed that. And people all over the country and the world even are preparing to sink into a couch and overindulge in party food and alcohol as they take in the gladiatorial spectacle that is American football.
Yeah, not me, but okay. I don't.
And what's not to like about the Super Bowl? There is pageantry, there is action, there's even a concert at halftime. All you have to do is ignore the ever-present possibility of a serious head injury.
Before tuning in to the big game on Sunday, the question any self-respecting person of faith ought to be asking themselves is, would really God approve of this ultra dangerous and
exploitive
sport we've concocted for the enjoyment of the masses? Could watching violence help squash our primal urges to be violent? And if this is the case, could God be happy that we as a society have found a way to not act out our violent tendencies?
Well, there's always a possibility, but it still doesn't work. I mean, look at what we're doing now with the war over in Ukraine. It just
doesn't mean there's not still some crazies on the turnip truck that are going to be trying to push off a couple extra turnips off the turnip truck. Hasn't God given us the medical technology and ways to share the information to the masses about the dangers of this game? So we know about the game. We know how to treat injuries of this game. These are trained professionals. And they are adults. A lot of professions are dangerous. Are they putting a bias on it because it's entertainment? I don't know. There's a lot of careers and professions that are dangerous. Just look at some of the deep sea fishers.
Oh, I've gone deep sea fishing.
Yeah, but have you gone deep sea fishing when they gotta go when the wild salmon are and it's sub below zero and you have freezing ocean water spraying up in your face and
waders on,
and
that's when the salmon run.
It's not easy and it's
no, it's not. It's horrible.
And if you don't do it right, you could very easily get
freeze
injured.
To death, or you can be pulled under because your waders filled up with water. And
so there's what I'm basically saying is that there's a lot of professions that are dangerous.
You gotta be crazy to do it.
And these football players are trained professionals. Yes, they may be getting paid by the sponsors, and it may be for entertainment.
My brother slipped on a rock and peed himself.
Oh, on the...
Yeah, going for the salmon.
But how is this God? How is invoking God and the church and the religion? What I'm concerned with is when you start these kids off at a young age, and do they have the protective equipment, and are they protecting the brain and the neck and the spine?
Well, that just brings up the tragedy that just happened with the hockey kid.
With the hockey kid
and now the
personal protective equipment.
Now they're all making neck guards mandatory. Because he got his neck sliced and he died of sanguination.
I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah. One of the options for high school students when they get out of high school is go to the military.
Should.
And that is a dangerous job.
No, I'm saying all high school students should have all protective equipment while they're in high school. They all should have had the neck guards on, regardless.
Yes, so I think it's a dangerous game. I do believe that humans have an urge or a tendency towards that animalistic, violent side. And it can be bottled and packaged and sealed up by actually participating, being a member of the football team, or actually observing. This is why they are so popular, and why it is because it goes back to our primal urges of having to get out some of these violent tendencies. It's the whole meaning of the movie Purge. Allow people to just go crazy once in a while, and then they'll be civil the rest of the time.
Looking the other way, there's no getting around it. Football players risk their lives for entertainment. We are the spectators in the Coliseum. The players, gladiators, preparing for deadly conflict.
Football leads all major sports in frequency and severity of head injuries sustained by its players. According to a recent study, the NFL averages over 200 concussions a year.
But that's only the number that gets officially reported. The real figure is likely far higher.
From a Bible sense, how can you cheer on such an activity? Well, from a Bible sense,
They used
this
to have.
type
They
of
used to have gladiators.
this type of activities in the Bible.
This type of activity is nothing compared to what was in the Bible. They used to have lions just ripping people apart.
And does the Bible specifically say not to cheer on or participate in such activities? No.
You didn't want to participate because that meant you were dead.
I think that Jesus may have had issues with slaves.
Yes, and most of the time gladiators were slaves.
And using them for entertainment purposes. So it was far more sadistic in the past, but I don't believe our paid professionals these days that are doing it willingly.
This question, is there virtue in suffering? There used to be, like when we were talking about the gladiators that won and got the most scars or got the most beatings or had the most tattoos.
And was able to survive.
They were the best of the best of the best, and they had the markings to prove it. So in that sort of sense, there was virtue in suffering. All right. In general, the Bible would have us believe there is, but this kind of suffering serves no good cause.
Ask yourself, who benefits most from these gladiators in the arena throwing bodies against body and heads against heads? Ask yourself, is this a moral and ethical question, or is it a biblical question? I think it's more of a moral and ethical.
Yeah.
I don't believe this is something that should be, and this is what I've been boiling down to, or in this discussion with these questions, I don't think it should be at the pulpit. I don't believe on Sunday morning you should be hearing a sermon preach about head trauma from football.
From gladiators.
And try to spin a narrative.
Yeah, there's no reason that violence should be around the pulpit. Period.
Yeah. I, for one, believe...
The Bible does have a lot of violence in it, but the Bible has a lot more love in it, too.
And in the same time, that the Bible has these things in it, it also shows that there's another way of life, a safer, more enjoyable, more happy, more loving, less pain and suffering and death. There's two paths that can be taken. And which path are you going to take?
Yeah. I, for one, believe he would be ashamed of our selfishness, greed, and lack of empathy for our fellow human beings. I won't believe turning in to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday, and I would urge you to do the same.
Yeah, this is coming from a minister that gave his sermon on a Sunday. The minister's belief. Should this be part of his Sunday sermon?
No, that's his belief. And I mean, he can voice his opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And then that's that. They can take it with a grain of salt, or they can listen to him. They can they can contemplate what he said. They can either take his advice or they can not.
I'm just thinking that you get up, you go to church, and you're there to worship God, and and now you are a family that loves football, and your children are in football, and your son is the star of the football team, and you have your minister now taking something that the family's doing together, that's creating a teamwork, that's creating and
bonds.
Family bonds, team bonds, and squashing it, and saying that God would not be happy with this, you should not be doing it. And this is his belief, and he's entitled to it. But it's not a biblical thing. It is a moral and ethical thing, and his morals and his ethics say that this is barbaric and it should be stopped. Okay. And then there are those that enjoy it, that don't believe that it is barbaric and don't believe that it should be stopped. So one person's opinion should not trump another person's opinion.
And also, one thing that I do believe too is that although football is dangerous, I don't believe that it's even in the same category as gladiators from the Bible. So it should not be being compared to it.
I mean, if you think about it, there's in any type of recreation, and they're saying with the obesity epidemic we have, we should actually be getting out and doing more. But people could be cross-country skiing. And just recently, this...
Baseball, basketball, any kind of game, there is some place
risk
for injury, some kind of risk. Dodgeball, anything with a ball, anything with a jump rope, anything with jogging or running or walking. There is some kind of risk.
There is some kind of risk. And
just standing in one place.
I don't believe these professionals and the amateurs are doing this because they're being forced to do this. They're doing this because they enjoy what they're doing. And they make a lot of money at doing it. So good for them. Do I think this society is flipped upside down, where we spend a ton of money and entertainers get a unbelievable amount of money versus the doctors and teachers and nurses and firemen and police officers, and I can go on and on and on and on, that actual do a physical benefit. But what I'm basically saying is that I think there may be a mind connection here with sports, the adrenaline, the primal urges and the hormones that rush through your body, the adrenaline.
All the yelling and screaming while you're sitting there on the couch.
And getting so involved that it's like you're there, and then you're not only there, you are part of this. And then when it's all said and done,
you've gotten it out of your system.
You may feel exhausted and stuff, but you've gotten it out of your system. How Shakespeare and Saussure helped create Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is coming up, a holiday equally loved and despised by the world's couples and singles, respectively. And while most of us associate the holiday with warm, fuzzy feelings about our partner, it wasn't always so romantic. In fact, there used to be a whole lot more animal sacrifice, flagellation, and running nude through the town square on February 14th.
Oh, running nude. Aren't they doing that on Mardi Gras right now as we speak?
Something like that. The origins of Valentine's Day can be traced back to, you guessed it, a violent pagan fertility festival called Lupercalia.
Should the origins of the history of the holiday be a reason to ban the holiday? A lot of these things that they just mentioned, the violent pagan fertility festivals, don't happen anymore. Running naked through the streets,
the villages, don't happen anymore.
The animal sacrifice, the flagellations. So yes, that is the history, but that's not today's current modern tradition. So should you ban a holiday because of their violent past, or actually look at what it's doing for society today based on the tradition?
That's basically like saying, should you judge a book by its cover, or should you judge a child by its father?
Yeah,
it's not what it used to be, so you can't really judge it.
So Valentine's Day had its growing pains. Once it finally grew
all holidays had their growing pains. All holidays can be traced back to a pagan holiday.
A lot of people don't realize that the white candles in the window at Christmas time is for the beggars to go.
That Santa Claus is pagan,
and that they used to dress
the
up.
The Easter Bunny is pagan.
Yeah, and they dress up and they would go and they would beg from the rich to give them food, and And then Halloween started, and a lot of the tradition shifted from Christmas to Halloween, and new traditions started from Christmas. That doesn't mean that we should get rid of our old traditions, but I think that as long as they are adaptable and they are morally and ethically acceptable by the society, I don't believe their history should prevent the holidays, but I do believe we should learn from history and not be
and
doomed
know exactly
to repeat.
what it was and why it was. All right. Observed in ancient Rome, Lupercalia was a fertility festival in which men sacrificed goats and dogs and then wore their hides as they ran nude through town, lashing local women with the whips made from the hides of their sacrifices. Local women would line up to receive their whipping, believing it would help them conceive.
Oh, how come you didn't line up?
So, how did we get from whipping the locals to heart-shaped candy and cutesy cards? As it turns out, you can thank Geoffrey Chaucer and William
Shakespeare. Yes.
Here's the story of how a few English poets turned Valentine's Day from a violent pagan fertility ritual into the most romantic day of the year. Will the real Saint Valentine's please stand up?
Before we get into Old English of it all, we have to talk about who St. Valentine actually was. While the real history of the Tad is a tad hazy, since this all took place thousands of years ago, many historians agreed that St. Valentine's was a Roman priest who was martyred before Christianity was legal in Rome, around the year 270, when he tried to convert Claudius II to Christianity and was promptly beheaded. Is it possible to understand history while writing a new chapter for traditions of the holiday?
I don't see why not.
I think that's what we're doing now. I don't think holidays should be banned because of their history.
No.
Yeah. An alternative theory holds that he was imprisoned Bishop Valentinus, who also refused to renounce Christ and was beheaded on the 14th of February.
There was a lot of Christian Valentines being beheaded around this time, so it's not impossible that history rolled them all into one character. For a long time, St. Valentine was just the patron saint of beekeepers and epilepsy, not a wildly popular saint, except perhaps among beekeepers.
Why beekeepers and epilepsy? Could it be the saint was also a beekeeper with epilepsy?
Oh, could have been.
Yeah. I've wondered why, like, Saint Nick is for, he's the patron saint of children and sailors. What does sailors have to do with Santa Claus? Or Saint Nick? Saint Nicholas was patron saints of children and sailors. And
maybe he brought goods and things back
on the boat,
and gave children presents.
Maybe Saint Nicholas was
whenever
a sailor.
He came into the port.
Or maybe the sailors were able to transport some presents to far off areas for children to have special
Or maybe
gifts.
he transported children.
Yeah, to better places. Leave it to the bard.
It wasn't until Geoffrey Chaucer, writer of the Canterbury Tales, penned the Parliament of Fowls in the 14th century that Valentine's Day became a day of lovers. In that he wrote, "For this was on St. Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to chase his mate." Translation: Valentine's Day is the day birds choose their mate. It's important to keep in mind that both Chaucer and Shakespeare were major celebrities in their time, with wide popular appeal.
In the past, the history of a holiday didn't mean that the holiday couldn't be modernized. Why not keep that tradition and continue to modernize our holidays. I think that
That's what we've done.
And our holidays have become less violent and more peaceful and more friendly and less sacrifices. So I think it is possible.
Oh yeah, we've come together more.
Yeah. And we share these holidays and we are creating modern traditions.
We're figuring out new ways to spend them together too.
Yeah.
Because
especially with the
COVID.
pandemic, yeah.
So if they said something, the common folk immediately latched onto it. It's kind of like how Beyonce got a bunch of people saying bootylicious there for a few years with the stroke of a pen. St. Valentine was forever associated with romance.
Wasn't the modernization of the holiday made it more socially acceptable at the times? Should this be done to our holidays? And would you support modernizing our current holidays?
I think it's modernized enough as far as we're going. I mean,
I'll give you a perfect example that was controversial in our spiritual moments that we did during the Christmas time about an ad in Europe that showed that Santa Claus coming home from a hard day or night of delivering presents and is met by his husband and they kiss. And this is an advertisement of Santa Claus. In this, they made Santa Claus
coming home to his husband.
Yes. And they open up the door that Santa Claus is in the category of LBGQT. And this whole issue of them is in the news and is very popular today. And when I first saw it, I was quite shocked. But the more I think about it, the more I realize this is just another way of modernizing.
It's another quality that Santa has.
Well, some people could say quality. Some people could still look negative on it. Don't get me wrong. It takes a long time for people to change. They have a hard
maybe
time.
there is a Mr. Claus and a Mrs. Claus.
Or a Mr. and a Mrs.
That's what I just said.
And yeah, so there'll be two Misters and a Miss.
Yeah.
Who knows? Or in some
maybe they share the duties.
In the Mormon religion, the husband has multiple wives. Maybe there are several Mrs. Clauses.
Maybe there's several Mr. Clauses.
And maybe there's several Mistress Clauses.
Stop.
We're going down the wrong road here.
And just to make sure that the association stayed, a few centuries later, William Shakespeare referenced it in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Then Theseus's The Duke of Athesnic compares rusting lovers to birds again, writing, "Good morrow, friends, St. Valentine is past. Begin these wood birds but a couple now." That sealed the deal over the next few centuries. The fertility element from the Lupercalia festival, the name of St. Valentine, and the passion of the poets all combined to help create our most romantic holiday. So if you're cursing the very name of St. Valentine this February, you know who to thank.
And who was interested in these articles? The articles are posted on our website. Spiritual Moments has been brought to you by the Church of Love and Light and has been read and debated by Minister Chuck and Jen at www.cbezio.com. One of the most important things I think I want to get across here is that some of these topics, and I'm getting them from religious and spiritual, these articles from religious and spiritual, amazes me that it is part of doctrine. That yes, you try to incorporate current events and how will God help you through certain particular things. But a lot of these times when the church is doing this, they're not doing this because they're trying to promote a positive, loving thing. They are preaching because they're telling a narrative that ends up being negative for the topic in which they're talking about. And therefore, I do not believe should be a part of our Sunday services.
All right, now for the show topic, Mothman and Jersey Devil.
Today's show's topic is brought to you by our Facebook page, Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences. The link will be posted when the show is posted on March 4th. And the first topic is Mothman.
In West Virginia folklore, the Mothman is a humanoid creature reportedly seen in the Point Pleasant area from November 15th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967.
That was a year of Mothman terrorizing Point Pleasant. The first newspaper reports was published in the Point Pleasant Register, dated November 16th, 1966. Cited, couples see man-sized bird, creature, something. The national press soon picked up the reports and helped spread the story across the United States.
The Mothman was introduced to a wider audience by Gray Barker in 1970 and was later popularized by John Keel in his 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies, claiming that there were supernatural events related to the sightings and a connection to the collapse of the Silver Bridge.
The Silver Bridge is a bridge that collapsed and 40-something people died in the Point Pleasant. But based on the movie and the book, a supernatural connection has been made. Do you believe there is a supernatural element to the Mothman?
Well, I believe that there's a supernatural element to it, to the fact that it's never come back. But I just think that, as far as the connection with the bridge and all this other stuff, I think it's coincidental.
Yeah, because they're getting the sightings of this creature, and it's happening. But also parallel to what is happening with the sightings of this creature is everyday normal life. And in everyday normal life, things happen. And as tragic as it may be, things...
They just weren't paying attention to the bridge.
Yes. But in further research, and I don't really discuss it much in this show, and that's why we will be doing a part 2 on these types of things, is that a dark-winged creature appears prior to major traumatic events. One of these events was a dark-winged creature that was near the nuclear plant that after the tsunami, and it's been in meltdown since 2010, the facility, but a winged creature had been seen and found in that area prior to the event, and now they're turning around, like they say with crows, that if you see something like the Mothman, it is a harbinger of doom. And I don't believe it's a harbinger of doom.
I believe it's like a warning sign.
Yeah. To prepare yourself. And it's a gift if you've been given a sign to actually prepare yourself.
The book was later adapted in the 2002 film starring Richard Gere. An annual festival in Point Pleasant is devoted to the Mothman legend.
History. On November 15th, 1966, two young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Millett, told police they saw a large gray creature whose eyes glowed red when the car headlights picked it up. Glowing red eyes in the headlights is something that is not abnormal. It happens.
They described it as a large flying man with 10-foot wings, following their car while they were driving in an area outside of town known as the TNT area, the site of a former World War II munitions plant. During the next few days, other people reported similar sightings. 2 volunteer firemen who saw it, and was a large bird with red eyes.
With so many eyewitnesses providing eyewitness testimony, is that therefore evidence to support the Mothman prophecy?
Well, is there evidence to support that something was seen?
Yeah, something was definitely seen. Something actually did occur. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson commented that he believed the sightings were due to an unusual large heron.
An unusually large heron.
He termed the shite poke.
Contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed the flashlight at a creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors. Additionally, he blamed buzzing noises from his television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature. Wildlife biologist Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University told reporters that descriptions and sightings all put the Sandhill crane, a large American crane almost as tall as a man with 7-foot wingspan, featuring circles of reddish coloring around its eyes. Is it feasible that the Mothman is a Sandhill crane?
I don't think so.
I doubt it. It's the way it jumps and the way it flies, the way it's facing its prey.
The Sandhill crane is a natural creature, and the Mothman or Jersey Devil, these are in the cryptozoology category because of their supernatural abilities.
The bird may have wandered out of its migration route and therefore was unrecognized at first because it was not native to this region. Due to the popularity of the Batman TV series at the time, the fictional superhero Batman and his rogues gallery were prominently featured in the public eye. While the villain killer Moth did not appear in the show, the comic book influence of both him and Batman is believed to some to have influenced the coinage of the name Mothman in the local newspapers.
Is it possible popular culture and urban legend created mass hysteria?
Oh, definitely.
Would you think blaming Batman's villain Moth the reason for the mass hysteria?
It's not the whole reason, but it could be some of the reason.
Yeah. I wouldn't rule it out.
Following the December 15th, 1967 collapse of the Silver Bridge and the death of 40 people, the incident gave rise to the legend and connected the Mothman sightings to the bridge collapse.
As tragic as the bridge collapse is, do you think there is a supernatural connection? No.
No, I don't. I think it was something that was going to happen anyway. It just so happens that they think it coincides with Mothman.
What do you think when you design it wrong? The bridge itself is collapsing for whatever reason, cracks and broken bolts and nuts and bolts and whatever reason, the integrity of the
bridge wasn't good to begin
collapsed
with.
under the weight of the many tractors. So I don't believe there with the Mothman that there is a supernatural connection.
The Mothman Prophecies 2002 is a major motion picture loosely based on the 1975 book of the same name by John Keel. According to Georgian newspaper, Russian ufologists claim that Mothman sightings in Moscow foreshadowed the 1999 Russian apartment bombings.
Speaking of Russia, I want to send our best wishes out and
to
prayers
Ukraine.
and love and light to Ukraine, because of what is happening over there
And their
with the
peoples.
Russian invasion. We are here in the United States. We are supporting you. We
Sending
are
our
with
love
you.
and prayers.
Yeah. And we will do as much as, I know our government will do as much as we possibly can.
And our people are doing as much as we can. We're sending stuff.
Do you think that there's a connection between the two sightings? And do these creatures foreshadow doom to come?
Well, we were just discussing that. I don't think it's the Jersey Devil. But there is something out there that does show up with these major tragedies. But it shows up before the tragedy occurs. So if you see it, you have time to stop the tragedy, whatever the tragedy may be.
And usually the way you just described the Mothman would tell me he is a totem to you, there to forewarn you of doom that is to come. Not that he brought the doom or have anything to do with the doom, but that he is a not a harbinger of anarchy and chaos and doom, whatever, but
And
someone
from the
to
way
tell you
he's described also could be, looks like a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Or a small dragon.
In 2016, WCHS-TV published a photo supported to be of the Mothman taken by an anonymous man while driving on Route 2 in Mason County.
Science writer Sharon A. Hill proposed that the photo showed a bird, perhaps an owl, carrying a frog or snake away, and wrote that there is zero reason to suspect it is the Mothman as described in legend. There are too many more reasonable explanations.
Is it surprising that a skeptic would see what they believe, or a believer would see what they want to believe?
If it's a skewed picture, either one would see what they believe.
Yeah.
Hey.
It really would be.
We're not looking at the picture, so it's hard to tell what it is.
Yeah, but a skeptic being closed-minded and a believer who was out seeking and
wants to believe
and wants to see it may actually be seeing something that isn't actually there. And even the skeptic, because they have an agenda, wouldn't be able to see the Mothman if it was put right in front of them.
Analysis. Folklorist Jan Harold Brunvard notes that Mothman has been widely covered in the popular press, some claiming sightings connected with UFOs, others claiming that a military storage site was Mothman's home. Is it probable that the Mothman is connected to UFOs?
It could be.
Anything is likely.
It could be, especially if let's say, as an example, there's going to be mass alien abductions in a community, and if the Mothman is a totem and it is there to protect and let you know that something is coming and something bad is coming and to prepare for it, then yes, the Mothman would be there when the UFOs would show up, or vice versa. Maybe the UFOs are studying not just humans, but they're studying all creatures, including those in the cryptozoology category.
Yeah. Brunvard notes that recounting of the 1966-67 Mothman reports usually state that at least 100 people saw Mothman with many reports, afraid to report their sightings, but observed that written sources for such stories consisted of children's books or sensationalized or undocumented accounts that failed to quote identifiable persons.
Based on the mindset at the times, is it realistic that many eyewitnesses refused to go on record?
No.
It's not unrealistic. I think that if a UFO landed in someone's backyard and it shook their reality so much that they too would not have been capable of seeing.
They question their own sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Brunvard found elements in common among many Mothman reports and much older folk tales, suggesting that something real may have triggered the scares and become woven with existing folklore.
If sightings go way back, that folklore could be woven with existing folklore. Is it possible that an unidentified large flying creature exists in this area? I believe that it's possible.
Well, there's definitely something
There's
out there.
There's a lot of large creatures that still haven't been identified. Just because they're elusive, just because they are scarce, just because they...
just doesn't want to be found or identified. He also records anecdotal tales of Mothman supposedly attacking the roofs of parked cars occupied by teenagers. Some pseudoscience adherents, such as ufologists, paranormal authors, and cryptozoologists, claim that Mothman was an alien, a supernatural manifestation, or a previously unknown species of animal. In his 1975 book, Keel claimed that the Point Pleasant residents experienced precognitions.
Yes, folks, we are recording this live. It is unedited, so you could hear from the psychic pops. They could be playing. You could hear our phone ring. You could even hear a knock at the door. There's a lot of things that could happen. We don't edit. We record these live. We're a one-shot deal. We do a good job or we don't. And it's as simple as that. So yes, our phone was ringing, and I do apologize for that, but it's off now.
So, in 1975 book, Keel claimed that the Point Pleasant residents experienced precognitions, including premonitions of the collapse of the Silver Bridge, UFO sightings, visits from inhuman or threatening men in black, and other phenomena.
What do you think about the phenomenon surrounding the Mothman?
I really don't know much about the phenomena surrounding Mothman.
Well, they said that right here, that the people were getting premonitions about the collapse of the bridge. They were getting the UFO sightings. They were getting visits from inhuman or threatening men in black and other premonitions.
I don't know if they were so much as getting more, but I think that they were recognizing them more. Because for some reason they were more aware.
Yeah. Still to come on this episode.
Historically, the Pine Barrens was considered inhospitable land.
Official researchers of the Jersey Devil.
And there have been many claims of sightings and reoccurrences.
The Jersey Devil.
In the southern New Jersey and Philadelphia folklore of the United States, the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the forest of Pine Barrens in South Jersey. The creature is often described as a flying bipedal with hooves, but there are many variations. The common description is that of a bipedal kangaroo-like or wyvern-like creature with a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail.
The meaning of wyvern is a mythical animal usually represented as a two-legged winged creature resembling a dragon.
It has been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. I did get that definition in there.
Oh, you finally got it? Yeah. Finally updated? Okay. Is it possible that the Jersey Devil and the Mothman are the same creature?
It's possible. Their description is really close.
Yeah. I'll give you a perfect example. Is it possible that the Bigfoot and Sasquatch are the same creature?
Yes, they're all of the same species. The only difference is color and size.
Is it possible that the creature in Loch Ness and the creature in Lake Champlain or in other lakes around the world are...
Well, you mentioned Lake Champlain. I think the creature's different in Lake Champlain than it is in Loch Ness. Only because the creatures seem to come on ground on Lake Champlain and eat meat.
We're going to have a part of our cryptozoology, other sea creatures, mythological and lore and legend and folklore. But I do believe that there is a possibility. That's why I combined them here. The Jersey Devil and the Mothman is the same creature, but there is a lot documented on the Mothman and not so much documented on the Jersey Devil. The frightening reputation of the Pine Barrens may indeed have contributed to the Jersey Devil legend. Historically, the Pine Barrens was considered inhospitable land.
Gangs of highwaymen, such as the politically disdained loyalist origins known as the Pine Robbers, were known to rob and attack travelers passing through the Barrens. So-called Pineys have sometimes fostered certain frightening stories about themselves and the Pine Barrens to discourage outsiders or intruders from entering the Barrens.
Jeff Bruner of the Humane Society of New Jersey thinks the Sandhill crane is the basis for the Jersey Devil story, adding, "There are no photographs, no bones, no hard evidence whatsoever, and worst of all, no explanation of its origins that doesn't require belief in the supernatural." The Sandhill crane explanation again. Is it possible that the natural species origins prove a link between the Jersey Devil and the Mothman?
Yeah, you just said this.
And is it also possible of evidence of a paranormal connection?
Well, there's evidence of both.
Okay, there's evidence of both. What do you believe?
I believe that there's evidence of both. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, do you believe?
It could be the same creature. It may not be the same creature.
Do you believe they are the same?
It could be of the same species.
Yeah.
But it may not be of the same species. I think
Could be a cousin species.
I think it's an interdimensional creature.
Oh yeah. See, what is the possibility that it's an undiscovered, naturally occurring creature? Or if there is really supernatural
it's like
phenomenon
a
happening.
It comes and goes.
Yeah.
Medical sociologist Robert E. Bartholomew and Peter Hassel cite the 1909 series of sightings and subsequent public panic as a classic example of mass hysteria begun by a regional urban legend. Why is it that mass hysteria is an explanation for all paranormal activities?
It's easy. It's easy. You get multiple eyewitnesses. And it doesn't fit a narrative that these experts can sign off on. It's very easily used as an explanation to basically poo-poo it away.
One New Jersey group called the Devil Hunters refer to themselves as official researchers of the Jersey Devil and devote time to collecting reports, visiting historic sites, and going on nocturnal hunts in the Pine Barrens in order to find proof that the Jersey Devil does in fact exist.
I think that these people that are actually out there searching and seeking and gathering evidence and physical evidence.
Are they debunkers or are they actual?
No, they're devil hunters. So they're not debunkers. They're believing that it says it right there. They're devil hunters. They're official researchers of the devil hunters and devote time for collection of reports, visiting historic sites, and going to nocturnal hunts to find proof that the Jersey Devil does in fact exist. It's not to find proof that the Jersey Devil is just mythology.
Due in part to their isolated and undeveloped nature, the Pine Barrens have themselves fostered various folk legends. Apart from the Jersey Devil, many other legends are associated with the Pine Barrens, supernatural creatures, and ghosts said to haunt the pine forests.
Why do you think so many supernatural creatures and paranormal activity are occurring in this region? I think there's
I think it's
a
paranoia
vortex.
more than anything else.
So then you're going with the mass hysteria. Oh.
Well, there could be more creatures, but I highly doubt it. I think it's more people thinking.
You said
they
like
let their imagination run with them.
The Mothman and the Jersey Devil. I think once the interest is piqued, once the media gets it out there, and it's a story people are interested in, a form of
awakening.
And you could call it a mass hysteria, but what it really
of
is,
awareness.
Yeah, is that you are more aware, you are out there looking more, and
the fact that this is untouched country, it may be being used more by those that aren't normally there.
Yeah.
Because it is untouched country, and the normals, or us, aren't usually around.
Yeah. The ghost of the pirate of Captain Kidd, who supposedly buried treasure in the Pine Barrens, and is sometimes allegedly seen in the company of the Jersey Devil.
The ghost of the Black Doctor, the benevolent spirit of an African-American doctor who, after being forbidden from practicing medicine due to his race, entered the Pine Barrens to practice medicine in the isolated communities of the Barrens, and is said to still come to the aid of lost or injured travelers.
The ghost of the Black Dog, which, unlike many black dog legends, is usually portrayed as harmless.
The ghost of the golden-haired girl, the spirit of a girl who is said to be staring out into the sea, dressed in white, mourning the loss of her lover at sea.
The White Stag, which was just actually in Shadow and Bone on Netflix that we have started to binge. The White Stag, a ghostly white deer, said to rescue travelers in the Barrens from danger.
There are also folk tales concerning the Blue Hole, an unusually clear blue rounded body of water located in Pine Barrens and often associated with the Jersey Devil.
Reported sightings. There have been many claims of sightings and occurrences involving the Jersey Devil.
According to legend, while visiting the Hanover Mill Works to inspect the cannonballs being forged, Commodore Stephen Decatur sighted a flying creature and fired a cannonball directly upon it to no effect. Joseph Bonaparte,
try to kill it,
elder brother of Napoleon,
not study it,
is also claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil while hunting on his Bordentown estate about 1820.
During the 1840s, the Jersey Devil was blamed for several livestock killings. Similar attacks reported during 1841, accompanied by tracks and screams.
In Greenwich, during December 1925, a local farmer shot an unidentified animal and attempted to steal his chickens, and then photographed the corpse.
Afterwards, he claimed that none of the 100 people he showed it to could identify it.
On July 27, 1937, an unknown animal with red eyes, seen by residents of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, was compared to the Jersey Devil by a reporter for the Pennsylvania Bulletin of July 28, 1937.
In 1951, a group of Gibbstown, New Jersey boys claimed to have seen a monster matching the devil's description, and claims of corpse matching the Jersey's devil's description arose in 1957.
During 1960, tracks and noises heard near Mays Landing were claimed to be from the Jersey Devil. During the same year, the merchants around Camden offered a $10,000 reward for the capture of the Jersey Devil, even offering to build a private zoo to house the creature if it was captured.
Does rewards help or hinder true scientific study for this creature?
I don't think it hinders it. I mean, it may get in the way of a scientist actually capturing it. But either way, I think it
You
would
don't think
eventually...
more people, more amateurs, they're muddying the waters?
No, I think eventually if it gets captured, it would end up in scientific hands anyway.
Wave of sightings in 1909.
During the week of January 16th, 1909 through January 23rd, 1909, newspapers of the time published hundreds of claimed encounters with the Jersey Devil from all over South Jersey and the Philadelphia area. There's a connection between waves of sightings. What could the reason that there is a long period of time between sightings?
I think that these creatures migrate. They also hibernate, and you can see them in vast regions during vast different periods of time, and that's just normal.
Nobody ever figured out to see what else migrates at that point in time of the year.
Yeah, I mean they migrate to more fertile.
Yeah, but
areas.
are they following rabbits? Are they following birds? Are they following deer?
They're probably
what are they following?
They're probably.
What time of the year was it? That's what I'd like to know, because it just gives the year, it doesn't give a time.
Yeah.
Among alleged encounters publicized that week were claims that creatures... Oh, it was said it wasn't for the week. So it was January 16th through the 23rd. Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe rabbit? Among alleged encounters publicized that week were claims that the creatures attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights and a social club in Camden.
Do you think that there's a connection between the waves of sightings? And what could be the reason that there is a long period of time between sightings?
Well, I think that they're going into hibernation and then they're disturbed either by hunger or by something else.
Did you read the next article?
No. Police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania supposedly fired on the creature to no effect. Other reports initially concerned unidentified footprints in the snow, but soon sightings of creatures resembling the Jersey Devil were being reported throughout South Jersey as far away as Delaware and Western Maryland.
And you are listening to Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences with the psychic couple, Chuck and
Jen.
And our website is www.cbezio.com. That's cbezio.com. And it is now, we're doing this on March 1st. It's going to be published on March 4th. But the hard launch of our revamped website at www.cbezio.com is out there live now. So it's no longer the old one that's been out there for years and years and years. It is a total all new, try to be more user friendly, get access to where you want to go and what you want to do.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay. Police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania supposedly fired on the creature to no effect. Other reports initially, I already read that, throughout the South Jersey and far away as Maryland. All right.
Yep. The widespread newspaper coverage.
You didn't read the question.
Oh.
Is the traveling sightings of the Jersey Devil further evidence that the Jersey Devil and the Mothman are the same creature?
Oh yeah, no. The fact that there is sightings and that they're saying the Jersey Devil is traveling. I do believe that there could be sometimes they're mistaken.
Migration.
Mistaken. Like you said earlier, the descriptions are too vastly different for them to be the same creature, but they are similar in a way, and I do believe they do migrate.
Yeah. The widespread newspaper coverage created fear throughout the Delaware Valley, prompting a number of schools to close and workers to stay home.
Village groups
vigilante.
Of vigilante groups and groups of hunters roamed the pines and the countryside in search of the devil. Does the vigilante groups and groups of hunters prove that fear created mass hysteria, not the mass hysteria created by the sightings?
Well, yeah, because the mass hysteria created the vigilante groups.
Yeah. And it wasn't mass hysteria that created the sightings. It was the opposite. The sightings created a mass hysteria for the sightings.
During this period, it is rumored that the Philadelphia Zoo posted a $10,000 reward for the creature. The offer prompted a variety of hoaxes, including a kangaroo equipped with artificial claws and bat wings.
Is this proof that mass publication of sightings can cause mass hysteria and hoaxes? And do you think the general public have been educated enough to handle the truth regarding these cryptozoology creatures?
I believe that some of the people are ready for the cryptozoology creatures, but for the most part, I believe that the public has not matured enough in order to handle the cryptozoology creatures.
Yeah.
It's sad to say, but I believe that they're just not mature enough.
And they're set in their ways.
Ooh, what is that? And freak out.
And for
they just don't want to understand.
Hundreds, if not thousands of years, sailors have
maybe if it was cute and fuzzy, but a lot of these things aren't going to be cute and fuzzy.
No. And we know that there are man-sized birds that exist. We know the condor is a large,
we know
long
that
winged.
Man-sized lizards exist.
Yeah. So and I don't see any reason why this cryptozoology creatures could exist, and why sometimes they're misidentified. Sometimes they're hoaxes, of course. Sometimes they're legitimate sightings, but they are poo-pooed away as, well, that didn't really happen. You know, because you can't scientifically prove something that happened in a flash. You know? New episodes of Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences posted on Friday, and our website, and on our Facebook page at facebook.com/ all one word, spiritual and the word and paranormal experiences. So without further ado, I'll let Jennifer get warmed up from the acoustic records as we move into predictions and prophecies. This has been brought to you by the psychic couple, Chuck and Jen. And the first question comes from Damon, born on April 26th, from St. Louis, Missouri. And it's regarding romance. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Put on your psychic hat. I enjoy dating, but my family, especially my parents, keep telling me to grow up and settle down. Should I have a steady girlfriend? Will I get a long-term girlfriend? When will I get a steady girlfriend?
About 2 years. You'll settle down.
With
a real girlfriend.
You haven't found the right one.
Fiance. You'll find the right one. In about 2 years.
And the right one will make it so that you don't want to
roam.
Yeah. Next question, and I totally agree. Should he have a steady girlfriend? Not right now, no. When will I get a long-term girlfriend? In about 2 years.
He'll know the right one in about 2 years. He'll meet her before that.
And yeah. And will it be a steady girlfriend?
Yes,
yeah. It's not going to be on and off and on and off and on and off. No. Okay. The next question comes from Mary Jane, born on September 28th, Boulder, Colorado. And her question is regarding jobs. Will I relocate when my job is moved to Oregon. Miss Mary Jane from September 28th, Boulder, Colorado.
No.
No.
No, you're gonna stay where you're at. You're gonna find something better.
Yes, you're not gonna move. You're gonna find another job at another company, making more and more responsibility, and you should be proud of yourself because you deserve it.
It's gonna be closer. It's gonna be more convenient.
I mean, yeah, you'll be saving money and earning more money, and
doing what you want to do.
You'll be happier. Next question is Geraldine, born on October 30th. In Santa Fe, New Mexico. Her question is regarding home. I live in a small apartment, but can't afford it alone. I need a roommate, but I like my privacy. Will I get a roommate?
You're gonna be the roommate. You'll be moving into a house, so you'll have plenty of room to be alone.
And the chores, I foresee this woman is meticulous, a very clean, neat freak. And if you don't want to be dealing with somebody who's basically a slob, you better make sure you know who you're moving in with and what type of life they live and whether or not it is acceptable to you.
Oh no, she'll be good with this person. It'll be perfect fit.
Okay, here's some prophecies. Will there be extreme weather in the South this spring? The South in the United States.
Yes, heat and fire.
And tornadoes and the jet stream seems to have pushed further south as the cold air in the north in the Atlantic regions come down through Canada and stuff. The real warm air is going to be held down into the south area that creates
Texas, Mexico,
tornadoes and thunderstorms and torrential rain,
Florida,
and flooding, and yeah, there will be a record-breaking year. Will there be
New Orleans? Look out!
I want to say this.
Louisiana, New Orleans is going to be rough
because this is coming out.
The Gulf of Mexico,
and it's going to be published on this. And I knew the answer when it came in. This question came in about 6 weeks ago. Will there be a record-breaking wind and rain storm in the United Kingdom? Last week, there was a record-breaking wind and rain storm in the United Kingdom. It has already come and gone. But if I had put this question out there in the past, or when it first came in, and what I thought the prediction would be, it would have already come true. Because they have had a record-breaking, they have flooding.
What is the point of your prediction? It's already happened.
I know, but the point of my prediction is that this was worked on and done weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and
the show.
The script of the show, and it's now going to air on March 4th. But the prediction is that the question will there be record-breaking, and will there? How about this? There will continue to be. Northern Europe is getting into a very turbulent time frame, and get used to just like what's been happening here in the United States for 10 to 15 years of extremes.
Extreme weather.
Yeah, Northern Europe, United Kingdom, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England. They do have to worry about these coastal storms. They are going to be fierce and record-breaking. With Russia and the U.S. in a new Cold War, does this mean terrorism will stop from the Middle East?
No.
Nope, it won't. And that's been predictions with the second couple, Chuck and Jen. Don't forget we do a live psychic readings with
Every
the psychic
Tuesday
couple.
night, 7 o'clock.
Yes, we do it right here.
Facebook Live. People.
Facebook Live on our Facebook page, The Psychic Couple. All one word, Psychic Couple. Our website is psychiccouple.com. That's psychiccouple.com. We do it through the event. And we do
through the WhatsApp app, and you can call us live on the show, and that's 860-866-4793. Again, that's 860-866-4793.
And all of this information is posted every single week when the new show comes out. So you check us out. It's live. Ask a question. We just did a special spiritual and paranormal reading show. We're going to actually take the rest of that show because we didn't actually complete it. We went to an hour and a half of this live show, and there was a lot more questions to be asked. So we're going to tack that onto when we do Hopi Prophecies on March 18th. And you will see a little samplet of what the psychic couple does on our live psychic readings when we answer these psychic questions. And there's many of them. There's at least 20 questions. And then there's some prophecies too that are going to be what's happening in the news and some superstars, that type of thing. Anything that should happen to change, we are immediately to post it out there on the web. The details on where to look and how to look, just go onto our website. Do you want to be, sorry about that, excuse me. Do you want to be featured on Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences or live psychic readings with a psychic couple? Would you like to be interviewed? Or would your organization like to be interviewed? If you have something spiritual or something paranormal you have seen, experienced, or an expert at, we'd love to interview you.
www.cbezio.com. Drop us a phone call, drop us a message. We'll set up a time and place where we can interview you.
And one last thing, we are taking sponsors and contributors to our show, and you can contact us right through our webpage.
We're also taking sponsors and contributors to our church, the Church of
and
Love
donations and volunteers, and to get the mission up and running and going and be more productive. Yes. Closing thoughts for the show. Have you ever seen a Mothman or a Jersey Devil?
No, I'd like to.
Or a similar creature?
I mean, I've seen creatures. Nothing with wings, per
You
se.
see cryptozoology type creatures.
Yeah, I've never seen anything really with wings.
If you saw something that large with wings,
I would think it more would be like a pterodactyl. I mean, I've seen a condor.
Does it, large creatures with wings frighten you more than just a large creature? Flying overhead, these massive creatures. They're flying overhead. That doesn't spook you or scare you?
No, I've seen condors, I've seen bald eagles, I've seen large birds.
Like I said, and I have said this many times, the spiritual part, like the miracle parts, the angel parts, blah, 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 the paranormal parts, the ghosts, the UFOs, all of the things that are happening with consciousness and altered realities and multiverse, whatever.
I've always had those dreams of flying.
But it doesn't affect me. But things that are actually physically real in this life, like a grizzly bear chasing you, that you got to worry about. A thug with a gun that's trying to rob you, that you got to worry about. A large creature that have hooves and a goat head with large wings is not something I'm going to run up to and give a hug to.
Well, I've always had dreams of flying in the feet of a bird.
I think that's your totem.
Like, it has me under the arms and by the legs. I don't know how it's going to.
And you're doing it through.
But I'm flying with the bird. The bird is flying.
That's interesting because, and I haven't had many discussions about, and this is quite interesting topic of astral travel with a cryptozoology creature, a mythical creature, a large creature, large enough to fly, that was able to take you and lift you up and fly you around. I've astral traveled where I've been flying, but not being flown around by my totem. And I think you've been worth being flown around by your totem. A large bird.
Well, I told you I have an eagle or a hawk or something like that.
And I've never seen the Mothman or the Jersey Devil.
I know I have a griffin.
Yeah. I have a phoenix.
A phoenix, yeah.
One that bursts into flames. I'm a fire sign. And rise from the ashes. Meaning, no matter how many times you destroy me, I'm going to come back bigger and better and stronger. I am a victor, not a victim.
Yes.
I refuse to be the victim.
Have you ever seen anything like the Mothman or the Jersey Devil?
No, I have not seen anything like that. I've seen a lot of things that have shaken my reality.
Do you think that they're something out of mass hysteria or hoaxes?
I believe that there's probably a percentage that could be that, yes.
So do I. But it's only a percentage. I believe that they're...
Remember, it only takes one.
Yeah.
To be earth-shattering and breaking, even if it is the last known creature of its kind. It only takes one.
Yeah.
And with so many sightings.
Well, it's just like the Tasmanian Devil. They once existed. It was a creature. They are out there.
Coming up next time on Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences on March 11th is Time Travelers in the Bible. On the 18th was going to be Crop Circles Part 2. We've moved that to another date. This is going to be, on the 18th, is going to be Hopi Prophecies. Because we just did Crop Circles and I want to spread it out a little bit. And not have it boom, 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 a series of whole bunch of shows week after week. We want a variety and a sample. So Crop Circles Part 2 is coming. Down the road, we'll do a Part 2 of Mothman Prophecies too. And on March 25th, Spiritual and Biological Energies. Did you lose your place?
Yeah.
Okay, coming soon to Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences.
Crystals, sci-fi impacts, Hopi prophecies, Native American lore and legends, alien abduction, alien implants, haunted places, Lucifer, devil and Satan, things that go bump in the night, introduction to alien theory, religion, and the paranormal time, manipulation, and time manipulators.
Series that we're working on is mysterious portals and vortexes, like the Bermuda Triangle, the mysterious
triangles, ley lines and portals, vortex energies.
Part of our cryptozoology series, mysterious North American land creatures,
Loch Ness sea monster and lake monsters,
beasts of the Bible,
mysterious places series like Egypt,
Machu Picchu, and places like that. I'm saying it wrong. Tepente.
Huh?
It's in Mexico. You say it all the time.
Gobekli Tepe?
Something like that.
Oh, all right.
Okay, yeah. I can't say all these.
Gobekli Tepe.
Yeah, all these names.
Stonehenge.
Those are mysterious places. And we will also do mysterious people and civilization series, like the Mayans,
Native Americans, lore and legends.
And that's all coming up. And
but wouldn't that fit in with the Hopi?
Hopi, it has their own lore. I'm going to give you a whole potpourri of different mythology and legends and lore from a bunch of different tribes.
Yeah. All right, because I was wondering where Nazca people would be.
Nazca lines and Nazca. That would probably be.
Would that be under mysterious people and civilizations, or would
I
that
think
be,
so, because they are mysterious people. And
or would that
civilizations.
be their own thing,
Oh, that would probably
like the Hopi?
No, I think Nazca lines and stuff would go under the civilizations and people, because they were the Nazca people. They're in Peru, and they are the Nazca people, and they created the lines. So I think that's where. And all of our sponsors for today's show can be found at the end of this page. Our script that is posted with the show. And without further ado, we can go to the closing prayer.
If I can find it.
If I can find it too, I'm scrolling down. It's down
All
here.
right.
It's at the end of this.
Now, we want to close your eyes, and you want to take a deep cleansing breath, clear your mind, and listen to the sound of my voice. Heavenly Father, as we leave this place, guide us so that we can reach our destination safely. Help us to submit and rely on you. Direct our paths and give us the confidence to follow your direction. Help us to obey everything that you have taught us through your Son. May we thrive in all areas this week and be firmly rooted in your love. In the Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Go in peace. Be safe. You are loved.
This is Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences. Don't forget, you can get to our Facebook page. It's all one word, Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences, or use the hashtag Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences. And it has been brought to you by the Society for Spiritual and Paranormal Research. Its website is www.cbezio.com. Founder of the Society for Spiritual and Paranormal Research is me, Chuck Ezio, and God bless. I think it turned out to be a real good show.
Why not?
I had a lot of fun with it. Until next week, hope you enjoyed.
See you soon.